The opinions and comments expressed on this show are a representation of the cast and the cast only. Nothing said on this show is intended to disrespect or offend any one person or group of individuals. We are solely here to talk our shit, and that is what we fully intend to do. This is Talk to Me Nice.
What's going on, people? Thanks for tuning in today. We got a great show for you. I'm your host, CP The Real, and this is Talk to Me Nice. As usual, here with the family, the crew, Mr. Pokefit, the queen, Miss Tavia, and everybody's favorite big homie, Mr. Von Solo. 4 people, 4 perspectives, 4 different personalities. Let's get straight to it. Y'all know what time it is, man. This week's sip of the week is cream. Cash rules everything around me. Cream.
Get the money.
Dollar bill, y'all.
Hey, cream is what is cream? Cream, Crown Vanilla, cream soda, and a splash of Sprite, man.
Just a splash.
Yeah, this is that Mamba mentality drink, man. This is that millionaire drink, man. This is the drink that you sip on when you're contemplating your next financial move. So make your next move your best move.
Preach.
One time for the one time. Cream. Excited about today's topic, man. Today's topic is financial infidelity. And we're going to examine that twofold, both internal and external. Within the black community, I think financial literacy is something that's not particularly given to us. I think that that's information that we have to potentially seek out. So obviously, you know, finances, whether you're single, married, have children, in the black community, that is a very important aspect of life. And I obviously think that we need to continue educating ourselves in that area. But today I want to talk about internal first. And internal being basically cheating yourself out of finances, right? We all have a responsibility to make sure that our finances are in order, make sure our household's in order. And we should all be working towards generational wealth for our kids, man. Right. So financial infidelity, I think, is something that's very common in the black community. I think that we potentially don't really have all the knowledge or information to make the best financial decisions, and I think that we cheat ourselves in that area. I want to start off with you, big homie. I don't know if everyone knows your background, man, but we've been friends for almost 20 years. Mm-hmm. For those of you who aren't aware, you know, big homie has played in the National Football League, had a great career at that. So I want to dive in. How long did you play?
I played 10 years.
10 years. 10 years in the National Football League. So obviously, you know, we're not going to put numbers out there, but it's safe to say you
So I'm not big for nothing.
Yeah.
He had to play something.
Exactly.
Yeah, big for real.
There you go. So ex-professional football player. You've obviously made a substantial amount of money in the NFL. So I'd like to ask you from an internal perspective, you know, what did your financial discipline look like, you know, when you were in the league or even got out of the league? And I guess how did you make sure that you were faithful, or were you unfaithful to your finances?
Oh, man, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
A little bit of both. You know, experiences probably in time are the greatest teachers. Usually our parents are our first models in teaching us how to be financially literate. Unfortunately, most of us that play professional sports are low-income kids. So that financial education comes from a survival standpoint rather than trying to build up, because you coming from a household that we robbing Peter to pay Paul. You know what I mean? We don't have the finances to go out there and invest, you know, and all that kind of stuff there. It's more so of, hey, we live in paycheck to paycheck. So me, I grew up pretty tough, you know. My financial literacy didn't go very far. And as black people, we don't trust people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We have a hard time trusting people, as we should. We have a hard time trusting people, especially with our finances and money. Mm-hmm. And so you take in low-income kids, and all of a sudden they're thrusted into a profession where you have abundance of money. You know, back then, you know, I was, 21, 22. I had a little bitty signing bonus. At first, it was like $25,000, and I think I signed maybe a contract that first year for $193,000. I remember that.
Lord.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying?
Lord.
But it's way more than that. It's like double that now.
And you were.
I was fresh out of college,
Man.
so I was like, "Woo!" You know what I'm saying? So the same way you are responsible with $5, you do the same stuff with $100,000.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have any limitations on what it is. Who are you to tell a kid he can't buy what he wanted his whole life? You know,
Right.
I remember always looking and saying, "Man, I want to buy me a Suburban. That's what I want. That's what I want." You know what I mean? And as soon as I got some money, that's what I bought.
Yeah.
You know, and along with a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
Along with a whole bunch of other stuff. I was in the club a lot. You know, just experimenting. I had never been out that far, and so you just introduced to a whole new world, and you expected to apply, you know, your financial literacy to this new world that you're in. And unfortunately, a lot of guys go broke.
Quick.
Yeah, it's easy.
So what kept you? I mean, obviously you say your parents are the first teacher. So was it just trial and error? I mean, what did you instill that kept you on a path to not be completely, you know, financially
trial and error, and older guys that were around. Like, hey, this is probably what you need to do, and you know, going to seminars, getting a financial advisor. Finally, you know, we don't trust them, but your mentality towards money starts at home. You know, either you're going to be taught to survive or you're going to be spending. America teaches us to spend money all the time, so we make up these fake days like Valentine's Day,
Right.
Black Friday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those are fake days, man. They just used to generate. You know, you used to generate profit and generate sales. And so we fall into that. And so we have a nation of spenders. And so naturally, a kid that doesn't have nothing, you go into a situation, now I got money, I want to go spend. Right. And so through trial and error and just, you know, being grabbed to the side by some of the guys about, hey, you know, you have to come to the realization that you're not going to be getting $15,000 checks every week.
Correct.
Or $30,000 checks every week.
Correct.
You know, that stuff gonna run out. You don't have that, so you have to start preparing for the future. And I think I came to that realization when I had my son, and then I had, you know, my funds start going out here and there. You know, that first year, I burnt a lot. You know, and then you know you go in the off season, it's like, damn, I spent a lot of money. But it's not only that, understanding the tax brackets you in. You know, we almost at 40%, man. You know that whatever I told you I signed for, it was. You know, that's almost half of that gone to taxes. And I was paying state tax in New York.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything was higher. So, you know, you just, I got it. You know, you send money to home. And another part of the story is black kids, a lot of us are taught that, you make it, you take care of mama.
Take care of everybody. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the expectations are there.
Yeah.
They're there. You know, not to say that's a bad thing, but a lot of people lean all of their hopes and dreams on the athlete. They've been with you your entire time, and whether they're living their dreams or not through you, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of pressure on young black athletes to go back and help, you know, not only the immediate family, but the aunts and uncles too.
Yeah.
Right.
I've heard some pretty tough stories, but yeah, that's part of it. So
Yeah. I like the word infidelity, right? So, you know, faithfulness, infidelity, typically we associate that to relationships, but I think, you know, collectively we can agree that everything that we engage in life is some form of a relationship, right? And I think that we've said on the show before that a lot of the things and energy that we put into relationships, we don't necessarily put that same energy and thought process into ourselves, right? So again, infidelity or being faithful, you would obviously assume your partner. You know, you want to be. You don't want infidelity in a marriage or in a boyfriend or girlfriend relationship, right? But again, infidelity, I think you can be guilty of that with yourself. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, Queen, I want to ask you, like, why, as much as, you know, anybody, not just the black community, but as much as we love money, right? As much as we want to establish a bright future and a comfortable position to where we can do anything that we want. You know, why do you think that people continue to cheat themselves? I don't think that we process it that way, right? I think we just spend money, but if we actually took the time to process that we're being unfaithful to ourselves. Like we are cheating ourselves. Why do you think that that's such a common practice?
Well, I want to talk about the Black community, Rowan, because a lot of times we're not taught that way to be in a relationship with ourselves, and especially with our finances. So it's like what Big Homie was saying, we grow up in survival mode, paycheck to paycheck, maybe a savings account.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's like when we get it, when we're introduced to large amounts of money, we don't really know how to manage that or how to manage that relationship. And so we don't even think of the fact that, am I cheating myself? You're just trying to get it. It's like, I struggled this whole time. I finally got it. I'm on. Let me just go and do me. But to your point, we have to realize that when we enter a relationship with our finances, we want to like take care of that relationship
As you would with a
as
partner,
you would.
right?
Yes, and you have to learn, learn your needs and your wants, assess the entire relationship, so therefore you're not cheating yourself, because that's the biggest thing. When you're trying to get in a relationship with a person, you want your finances to be in straight. You want to already have that relationship with yourself and your
Absolutely.
finances intact, but you have to understand that that is a relationship and know how to manage that relationship. And in the black community, we're not always taught that.
That's a relationship. You think that
That's
we
a
don't even
relationship.
acknowledge that
Exactly.
it's a relationship.
I know for sure I didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I had my son where I was like, oh, you need to save for a rainy day. You have to understand that all the stuff that you want may not be the things that I need, and understand that my money, and my credit and all that is going to be the relationship that I need to care about and,
Absolutely.
understand how to manage that.
Was
And
anyone
understanding credit too?
Yeah.
Understanding credit. A lot of us, we don't know what credit is.
Yeah.
Right.
I teach kids, they don't know what it is. I'm talking about 18-year-olds. What's that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, some
They-
people are
they
not
like,
taught
"What's
that till like they're in college.
Or the importance is not just paying your bills on time, it's how to open up different credit lines, and it's just a lot of things that we're not taught in school, and even our families don't teach us. It's not until we've dug ourselves in the hole and we're trying to purchase things, and you're like, well, why can I'm paying you cash? It's like, no, you need to have good credit. Your credit score matters.
So where have for the panel, where have the majority of your lessons been learned as far as the importance of financial stability? Would you say it's your parents? I'm asking you specifically, Pokefit. Would you say it was your parents, or would you say that you've had to experience losses to really learn the value of a dollar?
I would say myself, because seeing that I'm an entrepreneur, and I remember when I first started, Pokefit, I wasn't really charging that much, and I knew when I first started I was getting a lot of money from a lot of clients, and I was like, okay, cool, like I ain't never had this amount of money before.
Yeah.
Not even like before when I was in college, I didn't really have a lot of money, stuff like that, because when I started Pokefit, I started in college, but I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't charging that much. So when I got back home is when I really upped my prices.
Okay.
So moving forward, like I said, when I got like some money, I would just spend it. I'll spend it on some stuff that I don't need to spend the money on, like clothes or like going out or traveling and stuff like that. Just extra stuff when I can just be invested in myself and just really just saving that money for like my brand or something important.
Okay.
I'll say my parents taught me.
Your parents taught you?
My dad
so you're
told
one
me.
of the lucky ones, though. That's
Yeah,
good.
my dad told me, because he went through it though, and so he told me whenever I got paid to always pay myself. Always pay yourself. It doesn't matter if I give you $10. You need to pay yourself first before you go spend money on anything else.
And that form of paying yourself was actually saving money.
Saving. You always have to save your money. Even if you're given $10,000, you need to always put at least 30% of that to yourself.
Right.
And to this day, I always try to apply that. Okay, when I get paid in my paycheck, I have an amount that I don't even see going towards the savings account. And so therefore, when I ever dip in my savings account, I feel like I'm cheating myself, because it's like,
and that's a great
be doing this.
structure to have around yourself, because like you said, I think when people spend money or they're financially irresponsible, there's not that negative connotation to it. I mean, you should feel like you're cheating yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a relationship, and you have now violated that relationship that you set in place. Absolutely. Me personally, I would say it's twofold. I would say, and I think that things change as the trajectory of your life, moves forward. Younger, I would say it was definitely putting your hand on the stove and bumping your head. When you lose, I don't want to say lose it all, right? It's just when you look up and you don't have what you want, you know what I mean? Like younger, I didn't have a kid, so it's not necessarily I lost it all. It was just irresponsible decisions, like, damn, I don't have nothing left.
Right.
So that was my take on it, at a younger age. But my father always told me, well, when I got to I don't know, I was maybe still in college, maybe 20, 22. I was still working. My father told me to always keep some FU money, and fuck you money. It's basically a situation to where if you're in a certain job or a certain situation and you feel like you no longer want to be a part of that, you can walk away and be comfortable.
Right. You have
So
money
that's
saved up.
yeah.
Right.
You got enough saved up.
Right.
You know what I mean. So I follow that model today. I work today. But I got a substantial amount of fuck you money. So if my job decides that they want to do something that I'm just not comfortable with, I can walk away from that job and be comfortable for X amount of period of time before something comes up. But no, financial literacy is very important. I try to teach that to my son. And Chad, I know you got 3 boys, so I'm sure you teach that to them. You have a baby Aiden, so I'm sure you're gonna teach that to him. And I think that again, that's information that we, as an older generation or experienced individuals, have to kind of flow down to the younger generation. And then you do have individuals, again, Big Homie, you teach these students, you do have some people that are really just inquisitive, you know what I mean? And you have some people that are actually seeking that information. I've gotten to a point where I start to ask questions, whether it be from your experience as an entrepreneur or anybody, just starting to ask those questions. But I think understanding that it is a relationship that should be valued is the only way that you would even think to kind of seek out that knowledge. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that all of us could probably be doing with our money right now that maybe we aren't.
Right.
But if we're introduced to somebody tomorrow that says, hey, this investing opportunity exists, or this and this, just it's a dialogue that, a lot of us aren't necessarily having.
Privy to,
Yeah. Okay. So that's internal. Obviously, the message to the viewers and to the listeners is don't cheat yourself. You know what I mean? Like treat the relationships that you have with yourself with the same respect that you would want to treat a relationship, or you would want someone else to treat a relationship that they've entered with you. So if you want, a level of respect from your significant other in, this area, treat your finances with that same level of respect, because when you look in the mirror, that's a one-on-one relationship. Right. So, don't cheat your partner, don't cheat yourself. Right. So let's talk about external, because I think that gets a little bit interesting, right?
Spicy.
Absolutely.
Well, just going back to the internal,
Okay.
Another teacher is just reality and having real bills.
Mm-hmm.
Having real
Facts.
bills will
Facts.
make you put your finances in front.
I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying?
I
A
agree.
mortgage, you know what I'm saying? Stuff that really hits hard.
Yeah.
That'll make you sit your,
And that's not
up.
necessarily bumping your head and doing something wrong. That's just
No,
reality,
man.
because-
You start looking at what I have, and and what I have to pay, and what I'm gonna
Right.
have left over.
Yeah.
Right.
That does something to you.
You start to
know what I'm
strategize
saying?
your money. Yeah.
It does something to you.
But
So-
you only reach that point at a certain point in your life. So it's like you can't necessarily look at someone who is 18, 19-year-old
No,
and
they ain't no
expect
real bills
exactly
yet.
and
No.
expect them to grasp that
Nah.
concept, right?
But I do feel like that's a pivotal age to start teaching that, because when you're if I look back at 18-year-old me, it's like you need to get a grasp on life.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I'm walking around like I really got some money. It's like, sis, if you save that when you get to be a certain age in
Then
life,
you'll really have
you'll
some
really
money.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like save. I remember when I graduated, I had about $5,000 that
You
I
thought
blew
that was
in a weekend.
Yeah.
I took myself on a shopping spree. Like,
Yeah.
what the heck?
Right.
But I feel like, it's one thing to tell somebody to do it, but then if you show them, lay it out for them, because we have to see, okay, in real life, if you have an apartment, a house, insurance, gas,
Yep.
you need to make sure that your car is maintenance,
groceries, shit.
all that.
all
And now
that.
look at that little check. Now you tell me. So then you start really getting a glimpse, because I had no idea that rent, daycare, and all that was going to be as much as it was.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's a very good point that Big Homie brought out. That reality is real.
I remember
Also-
I remember the first time I saved $1,000. I remember that to this day. I think I was like 6.
to this day.
To this day. I was like,
I wanted to say that earlier when Tammy was talking. She said something. Yeah, to this day. I was like, in the back of my mind, I started giggling.
no.
To this day.
I was like 16 years old, and I had saved up enough money, and it was $1,000. And I ran downstairs. I told Mom it was all $100 bills. I said, Mom, I got $1,000. She was like,
Hey, you probably threw it on the floor.
What you do with it?
Hey, look at me.
oh man, that was gone.
Oh,
It was
Yeah.
It came a long way.
Yeah.
It was gone, man. I showed my mom it was all
It came
$100
a long
bills.
way.
Said, Mom, I saved up $1,000. I was like, I'm 16. I saved up $1,000. You know, I'm disciplined. You know, good job, baby. Good job. You know, keep it up. Keep it up.
Keep it up.
Shit, I told
Moments
my
later.
Oh yeah. But like
5
the
hours
slide on the
later.
movie. 10 minutes later.
Right. Where the J's at? Where the J's at?
That boy went to the Parks Mall.
It was gone, man. It was
Moments
gone.
later. New
And
J's.
the
That's
crazy
a
thing is the
J's.
people that wanted me to spend the money it wasn't even me. It was I told my homeboy, hey bro, I done saved us some money, man. Let's go.
Right.
We
Right.
ballin'.
We
Save
we-
money.
Right.
We bought
We made
Gang,
it.
gang.
a mess.
You wasn't with
Bring the
me.
hood with me.
You wasn't with me shooting in the gym.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That discipline though is for real. You have to have that is.
Now,
And like you said, when you think of it as a relationship, you look at it different. You know, when you are when I'm at the shoe store and I'm like, oh, it's just $10. I could just transfer
Right.
$10 from my savings, and it's like I feel guilty.
Right.
Now I'm like, dang, I gotta cook at home. You know, so
Right.
it's like you have to really look at it as a relationship
Right.
and say, hey, I
Relationship.
You put your
cannot,
priorities
I
first.
cannot cheat
Right.
on myself. I have to be
Right.
disciplined enough. I don't need these shoes. I want these shoes.
Right,
Yeah.
because I was at North Park yesterday. I was trying to.
Oh God.
Hey,
you
and
went to the
Tavia
Nike
ref-
store.
Yeah,
I was
me
at the
and
Nike
New
store,
tights.
Me
and
and
I saw,
Tavia
and I.
reflecting back years ago. You said yesterday.
Hey, look! I was trying to spend,
Still
I was trying
burning
to spend a bag, and I was like, no, I gotta pay for this next week. It's gonna still be there. If it ain't there, it ain't meant for me to have.
Yeah, and that ties back to we can always emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
man. that's everything, man.
I think
don't
the older we
cheat.
get, like we start to realize that,
Well, that's
We
the
don't-
key,
we don't-
Chris. That's the key. The older.
yeah.
When you're young, you don't see yourself old. You
Right.
just looking at right
Right
now.
now.
Well, it's 27 old.
Hell no.
Old enough to know.
Hell no. 50
shit.
years old, not old.
Shit.
50 is not old.
You
so
right.
you know what I'm saying? That man, you still got so much life in front of you.
Right.
And it gets even better. You know,
Oh, yeah.
the process. And
Right.
then
Respect
you
the
know,
process.
your mentality changes. And then the circumstances change.
That's
You
right. I
appreciate
agree.
all those hard times in
Absolutely.
your 20s.
Right.
When you're your 30s,
Right.
you know, and then when you hit your 40s, it's like, man, but, you know, just to kind of tap into what y'all was saying, you know, we tend not to look at the future when you are younger. We think every day is going to get better,
Yeah.
and
Right.
I'm going to keep making the same money,
Right.
and, you know, as opposed to somebody that's older. So,
Right.
you know, you have to look towards those days when you're done working. You're not going to be 18 and 20.
Forever.
You spend way more time as a grown-up than you do a child.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Facts. All right. So let's examine external because I think this is funny, right?
Got something on his mind.
Right.
All right. So we have examined the personal perspective and the relationship and attention that you apply to your finances when dealing with yourself. External. Let's talk about relationships. Let's talk about marriages. I think it's probably more prevalent in a marriage because I don't think that people that are just boyfriend or girlfriend or in a basic relationship,
Right.
I don't think that finances is as much of a big
I agree.
issue, right?
I
All right.
agree.
So let's skip that. Let's just talk about marriage. I've never been married, but we'll just examine it from just the relational standpoint. Big homie, you've been married, so you can give us a little bit more on that. Financial infidelity as it relates to a relationship, aka marriage with another individual. How you've been married? How do you manage that? Right. So a common debate is, and let me back up. I know a lot of marriages break up over finances. Right. Right. We all know that,
It's
right?
major.
Major, right? That and sex.
Maybe more so financial.
Way more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sex is always going. Yeah, that matters too. But when it comes down, if we
Finances.
can't buy anything that we need, or we're not able to support ourselves.
Yeah.
and that's a whole nother frustration in the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Sex is one thing, but that money gone.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's tight, man.
Yeah.
You talking about some fights around and some bad looks and. Man, this motherfucker sorry.
So, so
And as a man, you don't want that. You know what I mean? I
Right.
grew up, you know, I would like to think every man feels like and knows that their responsibility is to provide.
Provide.
family.
Right.
Right.
You have to.
You
Absolutely.
know, and that goes back to the other conversation with guys having a problem with women
Make
make
it
it
more.
more.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
sometimes that bothers guys. But for me, and not to cut anybody out, because I did see some people moving. So
Nah, you good.
don't think I was ignoring.
No.
We're gonna bring it back.
Like,
Queen.
hurry up.
I got a pin.
Hurry up.
Right
I got
here.
something to say.
We're gonna bring it back.
Yeah, so man, I forgot. Go ahead. I started drinking.
I'm sorry.
Cream.
I'm sorry.
Cream.
Right. No, I was gonna say I know we're gonna fast forward past the relationship, but I do think that it does start there because when you're dating, those are important questions to ask. Because when I get married, I don't want to know that you're
Surprises.
bad
Right,
with your
right,
money or that
true.
you
Know
are
what you're getting yourself
that you're a
into.
cheater
Right.
with yourself. Because
Absolutely true.
I've been faithful, I've been disciplined, and I get with you, and you don't know how to manage money. That's
Right.
gonna be a problem when we're married.
Absolutely.
So I do
You're
think
right.
that yes, to Big Homie's point, that does break up a lot of marriages, but you need to talk about that and know, don't assume anything. You need to know exactly what is that going to look like when we get married.
But
Absolutely.
from a woman's perspective, like you would only really be concerned with that level of financial discipline if you saw that relationship progressing, right? If you like because if you're not really dating a guy that you see yourself marrying or whatnot, why
You're not
why
gonna
do you
ask.
care? You know what I mean?
Well, I was like, why am I dating if I don't see him married? But anyway, no.
Dating with a purpose, got it.
Yeah. I'm like, I date with a purpose. But, so as a woman going out on dates, it's the age-old question: who pays? In 2020, we are still asking who pays.
I'm asking who pays, Queen? Who pays?
As a woman, you paying.
Every day?
Every time?
No,
Every
no,
single date?
not every time. No,
Okay,
no. I'm
okay.
not saying every time.
Okay.
Because this is okay.
Clarity. There you go.
I like clarity, right? Shout out.
Brothers is listening. Let's
Right.
go.
I like clarity. So when we're going on a date, I ask, you ask, whoever. On the first date, I really expect you to pay.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I expect you to pay.
That's a given.
However, I'm a grown woman, and I can pay for me if I need to,
Absolutely.
which I don't like to hear either, but I expect you to pay.
Real men don't mind.
Right.
Don't say y'all.
Okay.
You got three.
Now,
you have
I'm not going to
three-
put a time frame on anything, but me as a woman,
Yes.
we're going out, we're vibing. Probably on the third date, I got it. But it could be on the second. It's just, I don't want to put a time frame
there's
on
no
it.
time
But I
frame.
have no problem.
Just showing a man.
Show
yeah, right.
exactly.
Hey, I'm
That I
interested.
got
in
I
you.
have no problem
Right.
with doing
And
that.
as a man, I
Reciprocate.
like that because
Right.
when
I have
when
no problem with doing
when
that.
I see that just makes me more inclined to
Right.
say, "Nah, baby, I got it."
Right.
Just
Exactly.
to know that you would
Exactly.
even
Right.
Even on
offer
the,
that.
I mean, I'm not gonna ever just sit back and be like,
I love it.
I mean, I always pull out my wallet because I always got it. I don't want you to ever think that I need you to pay for me. I would like for it.
No,
I would like for you to pay.
You
I
are
agree.
you are
But-
a great representation of women because I think a lot of women maybe expect that, and there's a lot of things. If you show a man a little bit, you'll get a lot more from him. You
And
know
vice
what I mean?
versa.
Yeah,
And vice
right.
versa.
Absolutely.
So that's why I said I will go to the moon and back for somebody I care about. If you showing me that you want to take care of me and all this, I will go to the moon and back for you. But first date, this literally has happened to me. First date, you want to take me to Chili's happy hour and ask if we can go half on $15.
Oh,
At
no.
that point, I'm dropping in 20 and I'm walking out. Like, I'm good. Because what? Like,
$15.
that's
Look.
that's nonverbal communication right there. I feel like.
You must have met him on Tinder.
Definitely. I didn't. That's the thing. I didn't. But that's why I said it's very imperative that you know that type of stuff before we even talking about marriage.
Right.
Because if
Facts.
you cannot manage your money, especially as a man, especially as a black man, if you cannot manage your money, why are we getting into this where, as Big Homie says, we're now mixing finances and I want to go buy a house, but you've been over here being irresponsible with your money. Now we can't buy a house.
Now
We
this-
can't do
we gotta do
anything,
this one
and
too.
your
Yeah.
finances, your credit is everything.
Right.
And so that's very, very, very important to talk about before you get married. Like I want to know when
Right.
we buy this house, how are these bills looking?
So
Who's
you
paying
like me?
what?
I be wanting to know.
I wanna
I ain't
know.
gonna wait till I
There's
get
no
married and like
ambiguity.
figure
Yeah.
out what we gonna do. Like,
I
no,
wanna
I need
know.
to know now.
You
I
wanna know
want to
like Joe.
know.
I want to.
No, I'm glad.
Real talk.
But she made a good point.
Yeah,
though.
she made a great
Yeah,
point.
great
No,
point.
you're right because I mean, when you get married to somebody, to your point, that shouldn't be a surprise. You know what I mean? That should definitely not be a surprise. And you, Big Homie, you made a great point. I think it was on your Dear Black People last week when you talked about ownership. And what is truly an asset, right? So, if we get married, I want to know. I need to know
How much debt you?
Yeah, how much student loans you
Right.
have, what your credit score, because
that's not independent no more. You're like, I got all that. Yeah, you owe somebody for that.
Yeah.
But
Right.
that ain't yours.
and now that we're coming together as
are.
one,
Yeah.
I
you
assume
need
that.
to know that.
Yeah.
You need to
Yes,
know that.
Yeah.
and how those habits, if I'm a cheater in my own relationship, when we get together and now you got all this money, Now we got joint accounts,
Nah.
and you
That
thought
ain't
you had
me.
that money.
Right.
Now I've been over here buying all these $10
Yeah.
shoes. I ain't got to cheat on myself. I can cheat on you with this money, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
So I think
joint
it's,
account?
we'll get to that in a moment. We'll get to that.
Great
but I'm just saying.
segue. Great segue. Great segue. All right. So let's get straight to it,
Who
right?
money is that you doing like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I want.
Look, she's like, is that your
That's
money?
big
or is that
homie
my
money.
Because you doing this like you did this before.
All right.
This big homie
Let's
money.
get straight to it. All right. Let's
Oh.
get straight to it. So I think that that's somewhat taboo, right? So, and again, it's only one person who's been married, but we're just going to fast forward and just think, a healthy relationship, healthy marriage, right? Finances. What are y'all thought process? Like me personally, I would say when you're building a life with somebody, finances are obviously important. I think you have your joint account with your spouse, your significant other, whatever they may be, and then you have your own little rainy fund. Me personally, because I feel like it's taboo. I don't know if it's a requirement for my wife or my significant other to know that I have a rainy fund. That's just me.
Did it transition from FU money to rainy day because it's now you with your wife?
Right.
Oh, you said so?
Is it the same?
So
account?
does it say the same when
Is
you
the
married?
FU money the rainy day money?
That's a
Because
great
we
question.
put a cute name
Spin
to
on
it when it came to your wife.
Right.
Now it's rainy
Rainy
day.
day.
Why I can't
You got
you?
two terms.
Princess
Why I
those
can't still
rainy
be fuck
days.
you now? Why I
Right.
gotta change?
Right.
I would say no. That's a great question. Absolutely.
Because anything can
That is
happen.
a great
That's
question.
aggressive though.
No,
that's-
it's a
no,
great
I
I
was
would
question.
one
call it a fuck you money and it's my wife.
I would.
Right.
I
What
would.
do you mean I can fucking touch it?
Well,
I would say yes. I would say it would be the same pot because when I'm by myself, I'm setting aside money for whatever circumstances plays, right? And then I get into a relationship and I build finances with my partner, but I'm still going to have that same pot of money and it's going to continue to grow to where it's just if something happens. So I would say yes. I would say as a single man, my FU money would turn into my emphasis on my rainy day fund
Right.
with
They
my.
had a problem with that.
Well,
I agree.
No,
I agree
my,
with
my
CP.
you said emphasis on mine, though?
Yeah,
Why do you
no,
say
no,
emphasis
no,
on mine?
because the FU money was mine.
Right.
Okay,
How does my FU money become yours or ours?
where's my buzzer? Where's the buzzer? Let me. Hello. Hello. Okay, so let me ask you a question. No, CP. Let me.
go ahead.
CP. Let me ask you a question though. I think it's great. This is a great topic because when you say my, so when you marry someone, you still got my's in your marriage, like my money. This is my money. This ain't your money. This ain't our money.
No,
It's my money. Go ahead.
I like the question. Valid question, right? So
There's no us in my.
now I'll say this, right? So I think that when two people decide to coexist as one, I think that those individuals are bringing things to the table independently, right? So you are and me personally, like I'm not gonna sit at a table with a woman who can't bring to the table. I know what I bring to the table, so in that sense, I'm not afraid to eat alone. I'll eat at the table by my goddamn self.
Okay.
So knowing what I bring to the table, knowing what you bring to the table, we evaluate that. And then we make a conscious decision to say, okay, based on what we both have, here's how we're going to structure what we build together. I don't expect you, we're throwing out numbers, right? Let's say you got $100,000 of FU money that you had independently. When you and me decide to coexist, I don't feel like I have a right to that 100,000.
That's your money.
That's your money. Now, if you wanted to say, okay,
You don't have a right to
I don't. So if Tavia wanted to say, okay, of this 100,000, 75 of it is mine, but because you're my husband, I'm going to build with you. I'm going to take 25 of that, put it here, and then we start building forward.
Right.
I'd be perfectly happy with that.
Right.
And that 75 that you have is none of my concern.
Right.
Okay. I mean, I get that. I get what you're saying. I just didn't know how you were coming across because
You got kinda,
well, I'm just saying because everybody's different, some people are perfectly fine with that, but I'm just saying if I'm going to be with you, what I got is yours. Yours is mine is yours.
So you would expect
However,
the whole 100?
Whoa, however,
I'm
let me-
intrigued.
Said however.
my word.
You know, however.
However,
However,
That
what
kind
I'm-
of negates the first part.
yeah, absolutely.
But what I'm saying is that that's to my discretion how much I want to give to you before we get married. So if I'm coming to the table with my 100,000 and I say all 100,000 is for us.
Yes.
I have nothing. All this is for both of us.
Correct.
Okay.
That's to my discretion.
Absolutely.
That's my business.
Absolutely.
But if you have nothing to bring to the table and you want to demand what I have to do, that's a problem for me. We're not entering into a marriage if you think that you're going to come up here and touch my money
And
when
you
you're
ain't
not
bringing
even
us-
bringing.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's an imposter. That's an imposter.
I think we're on the same page. I definitely
No,
agree.
she's on the table
we-
with the wrong person.
Absolutely.
You need
That's-
to get on up.
Right.
What I'm saying is that I feel like there's more than finances when it comes to marriage, though. Because
Love.
yeah, it's love, and then
Love
you
don't
could be
pay-
starting.
Love don't pay
Love
the bills.
don't pay the bills, but you could be starting over. You could be in a situation where you just got finished paying Paul after you've been robbing him for all these years, and now you've
Not
shown
robbing.
you've had this work ethic, and I see it in you. You know, I'm still gonna have you're gonna have a password, and you have to go through me to get access. But I trust you because I see your work ethic. So for me, all that money stuff it's a little bit different. But for sure, you know.
Can I stop you?
Yeah, go
But
ahead.
Only because I want a concrete answer from you.
Go
right?
ahead.
So we've
Give
talked.
it to us, CP.
Yeah, we've talked about it
on.
a little bit, but you ain't answered the question.
Well, what's the question?
So, in a relationship, marriage, serious relationship, as a woman, do you expect that what I have or what your husband has to himself, you expect that to be fair game when committing to you and trying to build a life with you?
No, I don't expect it to be fair game, but I want to know about it.
You want okay? That's what. Do you want to know about it?
Yeah.
So you want to know what I have, even though you have
Yes.
no business to it.
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because we're together. We're not
That
keeping
ain't
secrets.
together.
But
No,
we're
this-
not keeping
this-
secrets.
look,
I'm not
this
asking
little
you for your, let me tell you
25,000
something.
that
I'm
I'm
not
bringing to
asking you
you?
for your little 25,000. I just want to know about it.
Why do you
Why
need
gotta
to?
be little now?
Well, because you said it. You said it.
Why
What I'm
gotta-
saying is, why don't I want to know about it? What else are you keeping from me? If
Well,
you
yeah,
can't
for
tell me
me-
that,
I'm gonna
What
let you
else?
know. I'm gonna let you know about what's ours. And if I have 100,000 and 25 of it is what we're gonna start building our life together, then you will know about that 25
Right.
because that 25 is ours.
I
That
wanna know.
75 is MINE. You don't need to know about.
I
that.
want to know. And you don't have to tell me the amount, but I want to know you got another account. I want to know. You are my man. You are my husband. I want to know.
Want to know the count. The second stop is
Nah,
the exact amount.
I don't have to know the
And-
exact
and-
amount.
and-
I don't.
And
I
I'm with
don't.
you on that,
Then
Queen.
what you
Okay.
need?
I want to know.
you wanna know
I want
the
because you're
amount.
gonna know. You're gonna know about all my accounts. So I want us to be completely transparent.
Okay.
If that's the case, then eat at the table by yourself.
Okay.
But I want
Lord.
to know.
Have mercy.
Give you that. I'll give you that. So now we see eye to eye. So
Yeah.
so as a woman, and I'm not saying you can speak for every woman, but
Mm-hmm.
you just think that in general, just a woman would want to know that another account exists. And
Yes,
that's it.
Right.
that's it. You didn't. I don't have to have access to it or
Okay.
nothing.
Right.
I
She
just
wanna
want to know.
Okay.
Just communicate.
Because
Okay.
I don't want us to start this. Well,
And
it's
I can
mine.
compromise on
Right.
that. I can
Yeah.
compromise on
Because
that.
don't
some
have to
guys
tell
don't
me.
want to tell you the amount of money that they have.
And I
for
get it.
themselves.
And I get it because you know what?
Because I ain't telling you.
Because let me tell you, for me, when I watched that movie, like we talked about the other night, when I watched that movie, Jump in the Broom.
Jump in the broom.
Jump in the Broom with
seen that movie.
Who's that
Jump in the Broom with
that
Paula
Paula
That's
Paula
like a
Patton.
chick.
Paula Patton,
Okay, I-
and T.D. Jakes. They got
Gotcha,
married.
gotcha,
You know,
gotcha,
okay.
gotcha.
So remember, she was from a rich family. You know, they had a really nice place, and the father admitted that they were broke, right, towards the end. But at the very end of the movie, Angela Bassett, she said, "I got some money saved up." She's always had a rainy day fund. He didn't know about it. So in that situation, it was okay, but I want to know. You don't have to tell me if it's $10,000. It could be $2 in that account. I just want to know.
Okay.
I'm not leaning on that. I'm not
That's
waiting
fine.
on that. But I just want to know.
And I'll compromise with you on that, but I do want to ask you just be honest, like what does that do for you? Just knowing that it exists.
The transparency.
It just
It's
Just
the
the open
principle.
communication.
It makes
It's
you
just a
feel
principle.
right. Okay.
Because I don't want us to start on this line where we're keeping little bitty. And I'm not going to know everything about you. But why? Why don't you want me to know? If I'm saying I just want to know everything about you, you don't have to tell me the amount. What's it going to hurt you to tell me?
Right.
and you would be perfectly fine knowing that money exists and not feeling any type of way about
She's
it.
not trying to get in the
Yeah,
money.
I don't
She's
want
wanna
your
know.
money.
Yeah. Because she
yeah,
got
I
her
just
own
wanna
money.
know.
Right.
Exactly. I just want to know.
Right.
Because you're going to know I'm going to have different accounts that you may not have access to, but you know they're there.
Because she's being open and she wants
I'm
you to
being
be open.
completely
To
Why
it.
you
transparent.
want to know what?
So if I-
why would you want to know what tools you need to break down a desk?
If
unless
you're
trying
not,
to break
that's
it
what
down?
I'm saying. Like, why do you need?
Well,
what
You know
does
what I'm
that
because
do
saying?
for
What
you?
is that? That
I
just
want
means
to
I wanna
know.
I want to know the
That's a
workings.
sense of control to me. Like,
It is.
It's not control. How is
I'm
that
not saying I
control?
have a problem with that. But I was
Right.
like,
I just
why
want
do
you to
you
answer the
need to?
question.
Why do you need to
I
know?
think-
We're
I
being
think-
completely transparent in this relationship, are we not? So if we're not, if I'm going to keep some things from you, maybe I got a breast job and I never told you about it. Would you feel some type of
maybe
way?
you got a what?
That is totally different.
Hey, look, if you got a breast, if you got
know anyway.
if you got a breast job, your man better know.
If I was born a little boy and I'm now a grown woman, wouldn't you want to know that?
Okay, Queen, you going?
You going
I'm saying
too
the
far.
truth.
Where's the buzzer when you need it?
The transparency is what I'm saying.
Where's the gunshots?
There you go.
We should have known that from the first drink, that first
Real.
Chili's day. I should have
That
known
he-
whether you was packing hot
That he
dogs.
left over
Look,
$15.
I'm Tavia now. My name used to be Tom.
It's a virus.
No, and ladies may
I'm delivered.
Ladies may feel some differently, but I, as a woman, this is just Artavia speaking. I want to know. I'm nosy.
And that's fine.
There it is.
That's fine.
There it is right there. You
No,
know
I mean, but
legitimate
it's
reason.
not
I
nosy
know.
if we're together.
A lot of women are like that though.
If we're together, it's not nosy. It's not.
Man, so
What is it?
I think it's just
Chase
us
know
being-
about the account. I can't know. Will's Fargo know. I can't know.
Well, we talking about me. Well, yeah, I'm gonna just speak from my perspective. Like, I can tell you, yeah, I got my own account, but I ain't telling you how much I got because
Say it with your chest.
say it with some bass. So, yeah, so like I was saying, I feel like you should know how much I have in there because that's none of your concern because that's my own money. If we're growing our own money together and I have my own separate account, then that's all that needs to be done. Straight up.
Let me ask you this. Do you have a problem with signing prenuptial agreements?
That's great.
I have no problem with that.
That's great.
I have zero problem with that.
You can know about all accounts then.
I don't care. I'm coming to the table with my
Big
own.
homie finna school you.
Just the same way Corey said he can eat by himself, I can eat by myself too. So just know
But
that
do
this
you
is
know
not
how
about the
many
money.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate, right? So you said that it's in the spirit of transparency that you would want to know about those accounts.
Mhm.
Do you know? And I can tell you firsthand. Like, do you know how many women would have a problem with a prenuptial agreement, and they would attribute it to
Here comes the L word.
no, not even love. It's just you're coming into a relationship with preconceived notions. Like, why would you worry about that if you're marrying me? So I applaud you for saying yes, but I'm just saying the majority, I don't know if they would be okay with what you're saying, Queen. I know a lot of women that would not be okay with the prenuptial agreement because they feel like, why?
And I get it.
If you're all in, why?
I get it. A lot goes into a marriage, and I understand.
Absolutely.
I understand that it's a lot more than just finances. You know, like I'm spending this time. I was with you when you weren't somebody.
You wasn't with me shooting in the
I was
gym.
with you in the gym. Those
Yeah,
late
but that
nights,
time-
taking care of your
time
kids
didn't
like that.
matter.
What time didn't like matter?
That time don't matter to account.
Right.
I get.
What
I
have
get
you done
it.
for me
I
lately?
get it.
What have you done for me
You
lately?
had no money
Well,
in the
I
account
get
like
it, but
that.
that's what
Well,
as me, as a young
It does
independent
count. I don't mean
queen.
to say it
What
like
I'm
that.
saying is
You know.
that I'm not with you for your money. Okay,
Right.
basically, period.
Right.
I have my own money. What you're bringing to the table is good and dandy. What I'm bringing to the table, I'm not here for. I'm not saying, oh, he got 100,000. You want to talk? That's not my motive. My motive is you as a person. What you bring are just your assets, because something could happen to you and you won't have that money. So I'm not with you for the money. However, as a woman, I think it's very imperative that I'm able to stand up on my own and bring something to the table beside my good looks. I'm financially disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
I have my finances in order. I'm trying to be independent. I don't want everything. I'm a little bit of that. But I think that's important to for a man to see that. And I feel like, then that trust and all that stuff will just come with it. But everybody's so guarded at first because it's like, hey, I worked hard for this.
Right,
and
right.
I don't want to just
It's
get
my
with
money.
somebody who all of a sudden I'm with you and now you're blowing it. So I think it's a lot of trust and all that. But, you guys are
The
seem
difference between getting married young and getting married in your 30s.
And I feel like, honestly, for me to
Young
this day, it's
love.
probably why I'm still single, because I see a lot of people don't have the same work ethic as I do. I'm not saying I'm the richest person, but I know what I have and I worked really hard for it, and I don't want to get with somebody who gets with me and just get complacent because they see I'm a hard worker and I'm never
You want it to
gonna-
match.
Yeah, I want that. I want
of
our hustles
course.
to match, of
When
course.
did you start thinking that way?
Great question.
Um,
How do you know?
I'm 27.
27. Okay.
Old enough.
So your mindset changed.
Enough.
I want to say when I was 25,
25.
because I started seeing that the guys I was dating were still living at home with their family.
How old were they though?
Like, but they'd had no ambitions or dream. They were like my age
your
too,
age?
and they had no ambitions. They were okay with Ubering everywhere. They were okay with still going out. And I'm like,
no.
I have to work in the
Uber
morning,
that
so
long.
I mean, just my
cannot
priorities were
The only time
different.
I
Or
Uber is I'm traveling to
Right.
another city.
you know, so
shit.
I just started
ain't it.
noticing that the guys that we weren't matching.
That's
And so
funny.
at that point, I say, okay, going forward, that's going to be a topic of discussion. How are you
Right,
with your money?
absolutely.
And I'm not ashamed to say, you know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not the most richest person in the world, but I do know
You
that
handle your shit.
yeah, I have the things that an adult should have.
You
And
got some FU money, Queen.
I
Yes,
have a
sir.
son too,
Yes,
so that
ma'am.
you know that
Right.
plays a big part. You
Right,
know, I have a son. They
absolutely.
can't look at me and be like, "Mommy,
Yeah.
we're hungry. You know, we
Right.
got to eat."
I want to
So-
take this
Things are
conversation.
cornbread.
I want to take this discussion in another direction. But before I do that, I'm gonna ask you, big homie, specifically because you obviously are the only one that's been in a marriage on the show. So, in your previous marriage, what did that arrangement look like? Was it everything is ours, or did you and your ex-wife, build together and then still have things independently? How did that look?
Nah, mine's I did most. I carried them around.
So everything that you brought to the table.
I got married young, real young. So you know what I mean. So we still are feeling that young love.
Yeah.
I mean, I love her for some reasons that are more minor to the things that we're talking about
Right.
Yeah.
right now. You know what I mean? And so I didn't look at all of that. And I was cool with supporting my family because I made it. I mean, not just because I made enough, but that's kind of, how I am.
Right.
So, I went in that thing and because of what I did, I knew, and then we had 2 kids early. I knew that was a tough job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't ask her to work. She didn't have to. You know what I mean? That was enough. I mean, with traveling and trying to take care of all the other little stuff, that's a job in itself. And so it's it's a blessing to be able to do that, to support and
absolutely.
stand on your own.
Yeah. I think it's an ideal situation. I think
It
that
is.
If
It's
I,
cool.
Yeah,
It's
if I
cool.
made enough money, in 5 years to where my wife didn't have to work, absolutely I would want you to stay
it's
home.
cool,
with
man.
the kids.
So with the
I agree.
prenuptial agreement, though, now that we get a divorce and I've quit my job and I've been helping, holding down the house, how does that work?
That's ugly. If
Yeah.
somebody,
That's
nah,
interesting.
nah,
But no,
nah,
how does
Valid
that
point. Valid
how does
point.
that work though? Because
I
I know
don't
it's
think-
ugly, but
I just don't think anybody in that situation would be in a prenup situation. I think prenup situations.
Is when each person is bringing to the table. I think, and I think from a
Yeah.
woman, and that's no disrespect. Like, I think that a woman who's intelligent enough to acknowledge that, like, okay, like, you want me to be a homemaker. Okay, well, if I'm going to be a homemaker and invest all my time into this relationship, then prenup is out the door.
But not only that,
Prenup
though,
is out the door.
Not only that, you knew this person previously before you got the money.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
met my wife when she was 19. My ex-wife when she was
So
19.
you met her before your peak, and
I met her before then.
Yeah, sure.
And
She
so
was
we
she was
had-
invested.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was there. She was there, to a certain degree.
She-
I was willing to go to
So she
distance.
she was with you shooting in the gym.
Nah. Nah, she wasn't in no gym. Although she was there. You know what I mean? She was there. I don't knock anything, man. I do
Yeah.
have my lessons that I did learn.
Facts.
And I realized that everything I did wasn't right.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful for the lessons that I did learn. And I wouldn't change anything. I learned a lot from that situation. But it helped magnify everything that we're talking about now. Saving for the future, building with people.
Right.
That matters to me now.
Right.
By the time I hit 30, we had been married all, halfway through our 20s already. And we were 2 different people.
Mm-hmm.
When we hit our 30s, we was 2 different people. You know what I mean? And, I was making enough money to where I knew my retirement was coming very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, we're in a good place where I can, get our kids and get them up out of here, and then we can start thinking about us.
Yeah.
But she wasn't there with me. She wasn't there with me then, and I was like, oh man. But I'm in the hole. I'm in the hole with you now. You know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And now you decide to separate, and you don't have as much on the table as me. You know what I'm saying? Now it's a problem. Now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Javier's example.
It's a problem now because
I've
now
brought all this. I've given you access to
it's
it.
okay when you in that hole with it, but when you try to pull away, it's like, oh man,
You pulling
it
away.
ain't nothing you can do, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do because she's entitled to just as much as that money as you are now, and because you've carried the load so long, you don't have anything to grab from her. She can take yours. And you got a problem with that after listening.
Absolutely.
Damn, I done lost I done lost a significant
Absolutely.
amount of things that I've worked for. Not just for me, it was for us.
Yeah.
But when you leave, it was mine now. You know what I'm saying? When
Right.
you leave, like, wait a damn minute. You know what I'm saying? You feel like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
And I had to grow. Man, I was bitter. Ooh, I was bitter. I was like, ooh. Yeah, but I'm not saying she wasn't entitled to none of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying it just hit hard when it's your money that you've had saved up in 401k,
Right.
That you
your
share with
annuities, all that stuff
Right.
there. It's like
you invested in that.
That's all the work.
Yeah.
I've
invested in us, and now there's no more us.
Now there's no more
and
us.
you leave with what I invested, or
Right.
a portion of what I invested.
with the expectation it's gonna always be us.
Correct.
If I had known that you're gonna back out like that,
It
now
would have been mine.
we would have been over here and you would have been
Right.
over there. But
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But
Facts.
I think if the shoe was on the other foot, I wouldn't have did her like that. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the type of person I am, I like to have my own stuff and be able to support. And so, to add to Tavia's point, it makes sense now that
Yeah.
I've been through that.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked her, how did you come? What age? How old were you? Or can you remember when you started feeling that way? Because I didn't think like that until I was in my 30s. Until I got divorced, I was like, I can't deal with anybody I got that we like this.
Yeah.
Right.
So and I was with somebody like that, and we were considering marriage, and he made less than I did. And me being the woman that I am, I want to know. So I was like, what is it going to look like when we pay these bills? How is that going to look? And
great
his
question.
answer wasn't to par. And so now that I'm trying to back out of it, it really had me think, how is it going to look? Because him as a man, he couldn't tell me. And I want you as a man to tell me, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that. But when you can't break it down for me like that, I have a problem. So now, in my mind, I know exactly what it looks like.
Right.
And so you can ask me the question now. Like to Big Homie's point, I'm not married, but I know exactly how our finances is going to look when
Absolutely.
I get married. It doesn't matter who makes the most because our money's going to come together.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to have your FU money, that's cool. But when we get together, we're going to have a joint account. I don't want to break it down right now, but I know exactly.
Break it down.
Okay, so when
We got
get married-
time.
when I get married, I'm a woman. I want to feel like my man is providing for me.
Okay.
I want a roof over my head.
Okay.
Can't be too much to ask for. Now I know if you make less than me, okay, we're gonna have a family. Things may look a little different. So, for instance, I want you to pay the rent. I want you to put a roof over my head and everything that comes with that. The rent, the water, the electricity. That's what I want you to pay. What I pay for is the household things. Like if we want Wi-Fi, if we want tissue, food, clothes need poster boards. I mean, kids need poster boards. Seriously. Toothpaste,
I got the eggs.
all that.
Toiletries.
I got the house things that go inside of the house. The savings
let me
and all
ask you
that.
this.
She got
Can I
an
catch-
FU account,
Yeah.
stacking
Right.
that thing
Can
up
I-
while you paying that.
Paying the little
No,
things.
but listen.
Can I ask
go
you
ahead.
just one
Go
question,
ahead.
and I'm gonna let you get back to it. And this is just my perception, right? I agree with the roof over your head, right? So, and this is just me, my perception. If I cohabitate with a woman, my thing would be I'm going to put the roof over our head, the mortgage, and that is 90% of the bills. And my thing I would expect her to take everything else. Just me. I'm paying mortgage. You can pay water and electricity and buy groceries. You stack all that up, it still is not equivalent to.
Do you have a car note? Do you have a phone bill?
If I have that, that's not on you.
What I'm saying, okay, but that's what I'm saying. So it's to however your household is, because some people may not be making a lot of money. Some people may still be making in the teens. So if I'm not making a lot of money, you're going to have to look at who makes what. And if you can't afford to pay anything else, then I got you, of course. But what I'm saying is I want my man to put a roof over my head, period.
What happened to the togetherness on the mortgage?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so if the mortgage is all your, listen, that's why I'm not finished. So if the mortgage is all your money, now some of my paycheck is going to have to go inside of your pocket, so you're not broke after paying the mortgage. That's how that's going to work. It's not like you're paying the mortgage and here I am balling out of control. No, it's like if you're left with zero, then if I'm left with 1,000, 500 of that is automatically yours. That's how that's going to work if we're together. But that's what I
You're a good
believe.
woman,
A
Jay.
lot of people,
That's different.
and I learned that
Look,
from my family, though,
that's
my
different.
parents. That's how my parents do it. They taught
Don't
me.
advertise that. You're going to have niggas all up in your DMs. Like,
No,
shit.
no, because I
Shit,
know
queen,
real
you know what I
right.
mean? Like,
I'm not doing that for everybody, and that's which is why I'm
I
single.
got a 401k.
Sounds great.
Nah.
Sounds great to that fire gun.
Oh, man.
But here's the thing, though. It's like, but that if I'm gonna be married to you, that's what that includes. It doesn't include me sitting over here doing well when my man is looking like a hobo.
Right.
Like, you know,
Right.
like if you don't have it after you done paid the rent, here you go. Let me finish putting
But
back
it's
the
only
savings.
because he's done his part, baby.
He's
you
done
done,
his
you done
part.
paid the rent. I don't
But-
mind.
But even if you decide you lose your job and you don't have it, I'm still gonna hustle, and you're not gonna be over there broke. You're gonna still be looking for a job, but I got you. That's what a marriage is. That's what it's about. It's not
Yeah, it's
about
all about balance.
who's. Yeah, it's not about that. And I feel like
Compromise,
you,
exactly.
if
Yeah,
you don't
compromise.
establish
Yeah,
that though
compromise.
in the beginning stages when you get married, that person's not gonna look at the finances the same way you are.
Absolutely.
I love everything that you're saying, right? So I'm going to ask you this question. I really do. I really love everything that you're saying. So I think that not even in the black community, I just think that as people, we're very sensitive when it comes to money. We're very sensitive when it comes to interacting with a significant other and maybe perceptions that are formed, right? Me personally, and a lot of people will take this the wrong way.
Okay.
I'm at a certain place in my life right now to where I choose not to engage with somebody, and this is going to sound bad, if they don't have X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
And it's only because I have X, Y,
X, Y,
and
and
Z.
Z. So you want
If
some
I have X, and I don't care if I love you, if we vibe, right? If I got $50,000 in the bank and I meet you and we date and this can potentially grow and we talking about moving in together, like, to your point, those are conversations that need to be had. You know, let's say I got $100,000 in the bank and then I'm dating you and I find out that you have $3,000 in the bank. That's a problem for me. I can't. And a lot of people will say like, CP, like that's shallow. Like you need to love her. Like if I'm bringing $100,000 to the table and you got $3,000 to your name, that's just not. That's
you just
not
want her to match.
balanced.
You want her to match your hustle.
Yeah, I just
No, I feel like-
I mean, I understand
can't.
that.
It's hard for me, and I'm gonna feel a type of way if I do engage in that relationship. Like, my thing is, because you made a great point. CP, I could fall off tomorrow, right? I could lose everything tomorrow, and my biggest fear in being, faithful financially with externally with someone is knowing that the person that I've engaged into a relationship with can keep the boat afloat
Right.
if something happens to me.
Right.
If I have all the control and all the power and something happens to me and you don't come to the table with anything, I can't even rely on you when I'm ass
When
out.
shit get real.
So that's why you have to date someone. I feel like that's compatible on your level.
Absolutely.
And
But
I
I
said-
feel like people get offended from that.
No,
though. Like,
no, but-
I don't make enough money for you.
Well,
It's like,
it's not even.
no, you don't. I'm sorry.
Well, the terms of the contract change. They go from love to appreciation. You know?
Right.
I appreciate the fact that you can take care of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And as a woman, a lot of times men do make more than that I do. Sometimes you're way up here in your career and I'm still, trying to get up
that's
there.
fine.
But to CP's point, he has X, Y, and Z. So men like CP, I don't even, engage with because it's not on talking about on your level, but I know there's certain expectations that you want from me that I don't have yet. So
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
want you to pay the whole mortgage.
But
here's the thing.
But how,
here's the
how,
thing.
how do you
I'm
perceive
not
that? How do you
okay, but here's
perceive
the
that?
thing.
How do you
If-
perceive that as a woman? What I just said, like you said,
I
that
don't
you
even-
wouldn't even engage. But
Your friend.
No. But I'm saying my thought
just
process. Am I an asshole? Am I shallow? Am I like? How do you
You're
perceive
honest.
that?
I feel like you're honest because to me, I don't want a man that can't meet my fly. I mean, and I feel like a lot of times too, it's just your hustle. Like you may not have it yet because you didn't always have that in the
Correct.
bank.
Right.
You had to
Right.
start somewhere.
Correct.
So if I
Absolutely right.
see that in you and I see your drive, it's always a caution to date someone with their potential. But if I see your drive and your hustle, I'm with you in the gym now. I'm thugging it out with you in the gym. But we're gonna be together. And hey, babe, I'm gonna help you with your credit. You need someone just to hold this down so you can pay this off. I'm here. I got you. And that's what it's about.
I like that.
But
because
that's cool.
It takes
But
time.
I was like,
it takes
but-
time building with somebody. Right?
What?
I was just trying to.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
I know
Big
why
Homie.
he feel like that because he's been really fortunate to be around me and other people that got divorced.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a chance to see that firsthand what divorce looks like.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people haven't seen that, and so when you're young and you get to see people go through that separation and you know, somebody like me, I'm gonna tell Corey. I'm sorry, CP.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell CP. I'm gonna tell him
Right.
this is what you know. This is probably what you need to be looking for because this is what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
This contract is serious.
Right.
They don't care about feelings in a divorce.
Right.
Which sucks because I'm my little role model. I don't want to say any names because it's still in court right now. But my role model right now is going through it, and she's a woman. And the person that she was with was the man, but the woman, she made the bread. She made the bread and butter in the relationship, and that man is trying to come for her bread and butter that she worked hard for. So even when you flip
Switched
the
up.
script,
That Mary J.
Switched
when you
up on
flip,
that
yeah,
ass.
when you flip the script,
Lord.
it sucks because you get told from people that are going through divorce and things like that, never let your guard down, always have someone on the side. So it's like you never know when to really just be honest and completely faithful to that person financially, because you never know if something goes
Anything can
sour,
happen.
they can come for your
That's
throat.
That's
Tough,
why I
man.
don't want to put all my eggs in a basket. But
And I
like you
get
said,
it.
you said you just want to know,
Right.
and I can do
I
that.
just want to know.
I can do that, but it's
It's tough.
definitely.
It's
It's
really
I don't want
definitely
your
gonna be
money. I just
like,
want to
yo,
know about it.
It's
I'll
really
let you know,
tough.
but
Because you can have a whole family that you support
it's
over there.
definitely
and I
gonna be
would not-
some money over
really
here.
tough.
It's definitely gonna be some money over here that
You
that
wanna know what you
my
mess up into.
partner
Come on
is,
now.
We
is
playing
not
with
going
my
to be
dough.
entitled to.
But,
Right.
but
It just
I-
it's inevitable. Mo.
So since you don't want to let that person know what's in that account, do you want to know how much that person makes and how much they have in their 401k? Like how much financial
Absolutely.
information?
I only want to know, and this is me, and I think it should be fair across the board, right? I don't ask or have expectations of anyone that for things that I'm not willing to reciprocate, right? So if I have money to the side and you just want to know that it's there, then my expectations are the same. Like, I don't want to know how much you have. The only shit that I care about is what we're putting on the line together, right? So if our retirement is together, then yes.
Okay.
And payroll itself, yes, I need to know that because that's finances 101. Like, you're gonna know how much I make.
Right.
I'm gonna know how much you make, and we have to know how much we make to understand how the bills are going to be dispersed, right? So that's given. But anything that you have to the side, like, no, like to your point, if I know it's there, you got some FU money, I got some FU money, I got my little black book over here.
Life's
and
good.
You got your little black book, and we just looking over each other's corner. It is what it is, man. But as long as the home front is taken care of, like, I'm good, man. But yeah, at this point, I mean, and Big Homie's a lot, I'm gonna say a lot. Big Homie's, he's older than me, but yeah, man, like at this point in my life, like I have a son I'm looking to build, and certain women may not like it, but it is what it is. And if the shoe was reversed, women would understand, because if you have a woman who is an entrepreneur, owns her own business, whatever, and has built that foundation for herself, you better be damn sure that she's going to be protective of that with any man that she interacts with. So you did say something that was very pivotal, though. It was understanding that I or anyone has not always been in that position, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 32 now. When I was 25, I didn't have everything that I have now,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there is a small consideration to say I'm 32, I'm established, I meet somebody who's 27 and is trying to find their way through life. I wouldn't necessarily discard that person to say, you're 27, you haven't found your
young.
way
Why not?
yet.
What-
You don't have this.
You're banished.
Yeah, you
Well,
don't have
what-
this yet.
why?
You're not ready to shoot in the
I
gym.
can't fuck with you. It's like, okay, but it's like you said, like, I would have to see that person has drive and they're hustling.
Actions.
And then if I'm a good partner,
Mm-hmm.
I would lend my knowledge, my expertise to say, okay, this this woman's really got some drive. She's going to be okay in the next 5 years. Let me give her all the tools that I have, and let me help her on her journey.
You have to meet people where they're at.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what that's about.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
compromise don't mean it means making adjustments.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're making adjustments, and if you see that in somebody, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not going to always be where the hell you want it to be.
Yeah.
That check off on your list,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, or 7, or whatever you call it, ABC, that's not going to always be checked off. But there's damn sure some things that have to be.
Yeah.
You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? I got to know that you're going to be there, man.
Right.
I don't expect to know your stuff if you feel like I'm going to leave on you. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you want somebody who's going to stick in the hole with you.
Right.
And I'm talking about from all facets. I
Right.
need you there. I need you there for me. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to put myself out there, my finances, this is my life.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? This is my life. It's serious like that.
Yes.
And we already mixing families and stuff now,
Yes.
man. It's serious. I don't have time to play with you.
Come on now, dating
I
with a
just
purpose.
don't, man. I don't want to lose everything in the peak in my prime of my life.
Right.
Where I'm making the highest that I can make. If I'm with you at this point, that money is gonna belong to you too.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Don't get into a situation, then we divorce and you take my house from me.
Right.
Come on now, who wants to go back into a relationship after that?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't do me like that.
Because a lot of women
You know what I'm
plot.
saying?
They plot that shit.
A lot of men plot too.
Yeah,
They do.
Everybody plot.
They do.
I'm going to give her a baby.
Right.
because it's
you this person? Oh, you in the league? Oh yeah, I'm with you.
because it's survival.
Yeah, right.
People show you who they are when they trying to survive.
And you got to look
they
at that. You got to
scratching,
take
trying
it.
to get up. They gonna pull
Right.
everything they can to try
That's true.
to make their lives
That's true,
comfortable.
man.
Yeah.
Whether
Gold
that's
digging, boy.
with you, or without you.
Absolutely.
And you gotta try to decipher those.
Right.
And we have a tough job. Everything's tough. Marriage is tough, but
Absolutely.
you damn sure have a tough time getting to that point to say, "Hey, I want to marry you."
Yeah.
Right.
You know how tough that is? Hell, I've been divorced 6 years. You know how close I done got to that?
Has it been that long?
Yes. I've been way back here. I'm like, nah, I'm good, dog. Because I don't want to have all the experience and y'all don't. Well, I'm going to
Right.
keep taking all the experience and y'all need it.
Right.
That's selfish.
You going to leave us some of the
Yeah.
heartache.
Y'all need some cream too.
Why would get married 3 times and then we have a conversation like this? Well, big homie, I'm obviously you're the only one that's been married 3 times, I might add.
Say it with your chest.
Yeah, I haven't got to that point yet.
you-
but
It's just hard finding
So you
somebody
want to
that-
leave some heartache for us.
so we can have some talk.
Come
Now we can talk. It's no
Yeah.
different from us. Waiting on your kids to get to a certain age where you can have that conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta wait till you get to that point.
Right.
Now you see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was going back and forth with Tavia a second ago on something, but when it's serious, when you locked in that thing, it's a little bit different.
Right.
I can't just get up and leave now.
No.
You
'Cause
know,
I'm committed.
and it's serious like that.
Yeah.
I'm in
I've
this
invested in
thing
you, yeah.
with you, and I'm in a bond, in
a bondage.
Man, God forbid it's
Right.
the wrong one.
Yeah. It's more than a
Yeah,
commitment.
that
You in the whole
like
bondage.
like the mummy.
Ooh,
Man,
that
for
thing
real.
mummy tight.
For real.
Mummy tight up in that thing. So
Man.
it's a serious thing, man. But I just applaud y'all for thinking about this stuff.
this
At
age.
what I would like to think is at an early age.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it didn't happen for me that way.
Right.
So I applaud y'all.
No, we appreciate it, man.
Yeah, don't let
Appreciate
nobody beat the draws off of you now.
Right.
What I would do, I would tell you go ahead and pay off your own house and stay single. When your house paid off, then you can start thinking about, that. You know what I'm saying? That's my advice to anybody. Get your own stuff first. Hell with all that old matrimony stuff. Get your own stuff first. Don't be fighting through with nobody. That way, you
got your
use
shit ready.
house that you have. If you decide to buy a house with your wife, you now have that house to be a rental house.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
You can have
I'm not
it.
fighting
I
with
don't
you
want
over
that
no mortgage.
mortgage.
Right.
You good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Take
fight
the
with
car,
you over no
take
mortgage.
it all.
Yeah. So if we have it, we get a house together.
want
We
it.
get a house together, and you had your own house.
I love that.
We can use our houses that we have.
I
to rent it
love
out.
it. That is actually my
Yeah, I'm
ideal.
not gonna fight with you over no mortgage.
That's my ideal situation, right? So I built y'all close to me. I built a house 2 years ago. So that honestly is my ideal situation for me to have a house, for the significant other to have a house, and then if we decide to get married, have kids, to get a new house, and now we both have something contributing to the life
Thank
of the
you.
building.
See what I'm saying? See how much
Strategy.
better that sounds?
And if you want to walk away, go back to your house.
Go back to
if
that
I
house.
want to walk away, I go back to
that
my
house. Right.
You would think it's that easy, but
It's
you get with
not.
people.
It's not.
You get with people who want to
It
just
It sounds good.
come for your throat
From
every
a theory
time.
standpoint,
Yes,
it sounds great.
it sounds
great. You know what I mean? I'm
Date
not saying it
forever.
don't work, but I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
in my mind, I know what I've been through, and
Facts.
I know, and I'm understanding money a little bit better now, and longevity.
Right.
And all that stuff now, it's all about assets and liabilities, man. You don't have those, man. What the hell you gonna do? You don't need credit if you got cash. That's always been
No,
credit's
fact.
for borrowers. That's all it's for. If
I
you
swear
have
to God.
money to go in there and drop, but it's not always a smart thing because you're
It's
giving up your
not.
liquid
It's
asset.
I swear to God, I've told so many people that, and I've quoted you. Like you told me that. Like
What?
you told me that. Like I don't know, fucking 6 years ago. But like I was like, yo, credit is for people that don't have cash. Like if you have the cash, why do you give a fuck about credit? That's facts.
You
like
should care
Well,
about your credit.
just in case,
No.
I'm not saying-
it's not that it's not important. It's not. I'm not saying that it's not important.
I'm not understanding.
But have you ever thought about that? Like, credit is for, like, if I need credit, it's because I don't have. Be honest with you, like not to say that you want to exhaust all the liquid cash that you have, because nobody wants to do that. Cash is king, right? But think about it. Like, if you had $1 million, like, would you really take out loans on shit, or would you pay shit off and have equity in what you bought, and then continue to move forward? Like, I believe that to a certain degree. To a certain degree, everything is not just 0 to 100 to a certain degree. But yeah, credit is for people who don't have the cash. I know people that have enough money to buy. I know people personally that have paid for their house, $250,000 house. They've paid for their house. They didn't take a loan out on their house. They had the cash. They paid for their house. Now, someone who takes a loan out doesn't have $260,000, $250,000 laying around. So, yeah, you take out a mortgage and you pay on a loan for 15, 20, 25, 28, 30 years, whatever you negotiate your terms to be. But cash is definitely king. Cash is king.
I disagree, but
Especially-
It's not all true. I mean, I'm just saying. When I told you that's just from the standpoint, you got two different mentalities. Okay,
I got the
way
Mamba.
I grew up.
I got the Mamba mentality.
The way I grew up, it was all, it was paying off stuff. You don't owe anybody. But when you get a financial advisor, they always stress building credit.
Right.
And so you fight against that. And so I think it's a balance. I wouldn't say go all the way one way. I paid off my cars. I did. I paid off everything I got paid off. Matter of fact.
Facts.
It is, and I don't have a problem with doing that. But at the same time, I learned how to budget my money. Right. You know what I'm saying? My liquid went down, but I don't have that always. Hey, give me this,
right?
And I feel good with that.
Absolutely.
So I think
Well, hold up. Let me end up one
Go
time.
ahead.
And so my last point is, this was my mentality, and it may not have been right. It might sound simple, simple Simon or whatever.
Simple
My
Simon.
thing was, when I was making all that money, I said, if I have to get a job, if the situation changes for me, I want to be able to pay off all my bills with a McDonald's job. That was my mentality. So I don't have to make that much. If I get in a bad hole, all my stuff already paid off. I don't have to.
Love it.
I don't have to struggle. You know what I'm saying?
You're just paying to keep the lights on, paying to put
Right.
something in the
Yeah,
refrigerator.
stuff that I don't need. I done live without lights and water. Hell, we
Right.
cut that shit off at the end of the day. But I need my house. You know what I'm saying? I grew up poor, like for real. So my survival is definitely a skill. Some people don't know how to survive.
Right.
And there's credit is a great thing. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a very powerful thing because you can use it to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
But my mentality earlier in life was, and it helped me out, especially when I went through my divorce. It was the fact that I paid my stuff off.
I mean,
It helped me.
You'll
It
never,
helped me. It
you'll
saved
never
my
be
ass.
rich as long as you owe somebody. And I mean, millionaires, billionaires, self-made entrepreneurs will tell you that. Like, seriously, like, you'll never be rich as long as you owe somebody.
Right.
It's just not.
And you
it's
paying
not-
on the interest rate.
It's
You
not.
might be paying back
It's
the
not
same amount.
possible.
Right.
It's
Well,
just not possible.
what if you let me just ask, because I think it's a balance. I think you need to have great credit and you need to have money,
Right.
like period. So in the event that you lost your NFL job and now you're working at McDonald's, you have that car. What if your car break down? It's paid off.
Yeah, you face it.
You work at McDonald's though.
I know how to fix my own stuff.
Okay,
He was
what,
in-
if,
he was in
what,
survival
if, what if
mode.
somebody hit your car? They didn't have insurance. You
So
had
she's saying
insurance.
you're going to use that credit to get another
Okay, I'll
car.
take it.
No, what I'm saying is that because I hear a lot of people like want to put all this money down on the car, but I'm like, you get that car and something happens to that
And
car,
now you don't have that liquid
all
cash.
that money that you just
Right.
put
Right.
down. So I'm
And
like,
that's
if you're
why I
gonna
say it
pay
don't
for
work for
something,
everything.
you know what I'm
It
saying?
don't
If you're
work
gonna
for everybody.
pay for something, always
It's
have
a
the
balance,
cash.
queen.
And I don't feel like
It's
people
definitely a
who
balance.
It's a
have the
balance.
money take out the loan because they don't have the money. Because some people have the money who want to take out the loan because I still need my cash.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think it's
definitely
and the
I was like, I think it's
balance.
50-50.
The smartest
That's
thing
what
to
I'm saying.
do.
It's a balance.
The
It's
smartest,
definitely a balance.
the smartest thing to do is invest with other people's money. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, but because
Absolutely.
I've had to end relationships because they didn't have no credit, and I'm like, what?
Lord have mercy.
That's a problem. So.
Bless your heart.
she said, "Bless your heart."
It'll be like that.
be
man.
like that,
I mean,
though.
you have to make
Because people don't be knowing.
You have to
Right.
make tough decisions.
Yeah,
on something,
right,
though, man.
right.
It is what it is,
Right.
man. This is what I have, and this is what I've been through.
And that's the hard
And this
thing,
is what I
man.
wanted. This is what I'm doing. This is the decision I made. You have to make those tough decisions.
And that's
Right.
hard, man, because a lot of people may not accept what that decision is, man. And it's unfortunate, man, because you could meet somebody and really
Vibe with 'em, yeah.
vibe with that person. It's
But they
like,
just
yo,
not there,
you
like-
dope as fuck, like
Right, you got
great
300
person,
credit score.
Right.
but
If
your
it go that
your
low.
credit's
Your
bad.
credit score is
I don't even know if
trash.
it go
Not
that
that
low,
hard.
bro.
Yeah, your
credit
Do it
score
go that
is
low?
good.
Your credit's bad. You don't have any liquid cash. So as much as I like you, to your point, I have to make an adult decision. I like you, but at this point in my life,
I don't
I'm,
like the financial.
I'm
piece.
trying. Yeah, I'm
Right.
trying to.
I'm
build
trying
a
to
Can't like
build,
you that
right.
much if you
I
got
like
that.
you,
Like,
but
you're
I
in a-
can't build with you.
You're in a different mindset.
Yeah, it's
Right.
not even. But to David's point, it's not even a mindset. It may just be where they are in their life. You know, I'm 32.
Right.
I'm 32.
Right.
You know, and I'm
I'm
not.
Legos and you connects.
I'm
You
30
tic tac toe.
I'm 32, so a 23-year-old is not going to like. I just can't have that expectation
no.
of a 23-year-old.
Absolutely
to be
not.
where I am.
Their mind isn't.
At-
Their
at
mind
not
isn't.
even-
No,
Their mind
'cause
isn't even
some
programmed
may,
to
some
even
may.
think
Not
that
even
way.
attractive.
Some may though. I wouldn't write off everybody. Some people may, but
Yeah, but
even
you have
if,
to find
but
out
even
those
if I
things.
have you,
That's rare,
even
though,
if
bro.
if I got it financially, I'm still not mature enough.
Mature
Maybe.
enough,
So I'm
right.
saying
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
no, you have to judge every situation as it goes.
Absolutely.
But I need to know how you are
Right.
independently financially before we even start talking
Right.
about
Can you hold your own ground?
together.
Right. Yeah.
And that makes it actually your financial you actually makes you unattractive.
That's
Yeah.
what I was
You said the
saying.
financial you?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
if
can't
you're-
like you that
listen,
much.
If you can't hold your own shit,
You
oh,
That is
outside,
not
but
right.
you're ugly.
Because
You're
when we're hanging out, when we're vibing, who's paying for these
that's
vibes?
fact.
Yeah.
And a
Who's
lot-
paying for the
I
vibes?
think a lot of women and men overlook, and not even financially, just overlook a lot of things. It's like, I don't care what you look like on X, Y, and Z. Like, you
Right.
could be supermodel cover ready,
man, that shit don't matter.
and you don't have a pot to piss in.
Or
It's
a window
about-
to throw it out of.
You doing it for likes,
It's
but
still
you really ain't got
about-
no real
But
life.
you ain't
It's a
gonna take no gorilla.
Yeah.
It's a balance. So you
Yeah,
definitely gotta be
yeah,
attractive.
you ain't gonna take a
You
gorilla that got good
definitely have to
401k
be
too.
attractive.
Right.
You
Like,
definitely need to be attractive, man.
damn, I just need you to pony up just
Right.
a little bit.
I need you to be attractive.
You're not gonna take
Hey,
a
the
Hoggetha
leg.
and
have
have
some
roll
money.
over.
to
not a Hoggetha with a 401k.
That rollover situation tough.
Y'all
It's
sleeping
like
on
you roll
Hoggetha
over
is
and
what
be
I'm
like,
saying.
Hoggetha ain't got no money.
Y'all sleep. Hoggetha balling out of control.
Hoggetha might be balling.
She cream.
might.
Look, the viewers are wondering who the hell is Hoggetha.
We don't know.
I got
nah,
the milk.
man.
The milk.
Great discussion, man. Great discussion. Hopefully that forces some of the viewers and listeners to kind of think, man. But yeah, your finances again are a relationship, guys. Again, ladies, men, like we put so much effort and attention into other things that we consider criteria for being a relationship, but man, your finances are a very important relationship that you have with yourself. It's no different than your health, your mental health, your physical health, your peace of mind, your sanity, just all of that, man. Finances should be a part of that independently, and then definitely it should be a part of your focus with whoever you decide to build a life with. So we don't want you guys to be financially irresponsible. We want you to be financially faithful
Right.
to yourself and to whatever relationship or life you're trying to build with somebody else. So great discussion. Again, I think financial literacy in the Black community is something that we need to continue to seek, continue to ask questions, continue to surround yourselves with big homies and aunts and uncles and people that have went through it, man, because the worst thing that you can do is kind of experience these things on your own, at the worst side of the spectrum. You know what I mean? So be aware of your surroundings. Ask questions. If you're in high school, college, like these are things that you guys should be figuring out prior to adulthood, man. So obviously a lot of things that we kind of learn on our own, but I hope that this segment opens the eyes to some people and makes them pose the question and gets those things rolling in their mind. But y'all know what it is, man. The Talk to Me Nice cast. We're here. Comments, questions, concerns. I think that we all can share expertise in certain areas, man. So feel free to reach out to us. We'll definitely reach back out. But y'all know what it is, man. It's Dear Black People, my favorite segment of the show. This is an opportunity for the Talk to Me Nice cast to address the black community with anything that's on our mind, on our hearts, or in our soul. So we're gonna get straight to it. Pofit, let's start it off.
Oh man, y'all ready for this?
I'm ready for this.
You ready? Y'all ready?
Yeah, we ready.
Do some push-ups.
Oh,
Switch.
You ready? Ready.
dear black people. Dear black people, take care of y'all kids, man. Invest in y'all kids. Cherish y'all kids, man. Support y'all kids in whatever they do. If you have an expectation for them, like if you were in the league and you want them to be like, the next you, like don't think that way. What if they want to be in the band, or what if they want to be in the debate team? Support them. Don't try to mold them into another you. Support them. Always go to their games because like that matters. I know when I was growing up, my pops and my mom always came to my games in every sport, and all that stuff adds up when you get older because you look for support. And I know all of us love support, especially all of us, the Talk to Me Nice crew. You know what I'm saying?
We do.
So yeah, man. In conclusion, my people, my black people, take care of your kids, love your kids, and invest and support your kids, please.
He got me questioning myself. I gotta go home now and ask Caleb, do you really
support me?
Look, do you really like baseball?
Right.
Or is Daddy forcing
I
it?
ain't gonna lie, I done missed a bunch of games. Like, I'm not coming to that shit. That don't mean I don't love you.
Right.
Bro. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no different than your dad.
You ain't even starting, son.
Right.
Whoa.
So I'm gonna
nah,
come to the
that
game.
was that was
not to
Call
start
me
you.
when you start.
Right.
So you gonna have me come to the game?
Right.
You got to doing that?
Right.
I'm not wasting my free time. On
Right.
that. You know, I mean,
Wow.
when you're old enough, that's just what it is. Like,
Right.
hey man, either you're gonna play or you're gonna participate or you're not.
Right.
Don't waste my time
Right.
because you out there playing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In my case, me and my ex-wife, we played sports, so we know. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
He's like, you out here playing.
You playing.
Yeah, I'm not wasting my money.
Right.
I'm not coming to your game
Right.
to watch you do that.
Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely.
I
I agree.
My kids are teenagers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, no, I'm not watching. And we done been to plenty of games where we had perfect attendance and Roman was playing in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? Them young games, the baseball, he playing in the dirt.
So
Why-
what?
why
so,
we here?
So what if your
Why,
kid?
what are we doing?
So
what are we doing?
So what if your kid was like actually good though? Is what I'm saying.
If he's good, he wouldn't be playing in no goddamn dirt.
I'm saying like to the kids that like some kids were like superstar athletes and didn't have no support. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, that's just them then. That's part of life, baby.
Man.
Hey,
Alright.
you
Did
play
your
the
mom and dad come to every game and make you a better person? Hell
play-
no.
you play the
wasn't
card-
looking at your mom and dad anyway.
I wasn't, but
I told my mom, don't ever come on the field when I'm playing. If I get hurt, stay up in the ass up in them stands.
yeah.
Don't come down.
'Cause I remember I got hurt one time. My
This
mom
is my
was
life.
sprinting to the field. I was like, oh no, hold on, dog.
Nah, you was like,
No, man, I was on the ground like, hold on, dog.
It's my knee, mommy. It's my knee.
I don't
"What's
care.
wrong, baby. My feelings hurt.
Oh wow.
Your mom was like,
All right, let's keep it going. The queen, let's go.
All right, dear black people. This kind of like goes with the flow, but check your motives. If you are doing something that is not in your heart or that you don't want to do, why are you doing it?
Because
So,
it feels good.
because if don't do,
Look, you play
why are
good.
you in college if you don't want to be there? Why are you at this job if you don't want to be there? Or why are you pursuing certain goals if that's not what you want to do? Maybe someone around you is telling you to do it. Maybe your parents are telling you to do it. Maybe you're doing it because you don't think that you have any other options. So check your motives for whatever it is that you're going to do and do what you love and do what your heart is into. That's all.
Drop the mic. Ooh, wait.
That's dope. I like that.
She always drop it hard. It's hard to come
Real
by.
talk.
Yeah.
We gotta start making Tavia last. I can't come behind her with no bullshit.
You gotta talk some shit.
You gotta talk about bullshit behind her. Shit. Let me go first.
The queen come with it. All right, let me take it. Dear black people, live in the moment. And when I say live in the moment, I mean grasp a firm understanding that the past was yesterday. And tomorrow, the future, you can't predict. So live in the moment, enjoy life, and make the best decisions that you can for what you can firmly see straight ahead. And then you got to leave the rest to God, whatever your spiritual, belief is. You got to leave it to that, man. I think a lot of us dwell in the past. A lot of us have, and this goes to mental health, a lot of us have, anxiety about tomorrow, the week after that. Like, you can't control any of that. All you can do is make the best decisions today for what you want your life to be tomorrow or next week or next month or, next year. That's all you guys can do. As far as the past, any failures that you've experienced or any trials or tribulations that you've experienced, use those things as stepping stones. You know what I mean? Like, those are things that are going to excel you to the next chapter of your life. So, my takeaway again would be live in the moment, accept your failures as stepping stones to your future, and stay focused.
Right. Dear black people, the word of today is survival, and but there's levels to survival. And with that being said, there's certain things that apply when you are a lower income versus when you, quote unquote, are making it. And I want to direct this in the area of how we store stuff. Foil is not Tupperware.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Foil is not Tupperware, black people. And country crock butter is not Tupperware either. After we use the QT cups and the free cups you get from McDonald's, they don't need to be inside of your cupboard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In your cabinet, you open the cabinet, you got a thing full of plastic.
You got golden shit. You got.
You know what I'm saying? I understand
it,
and that's why I say at different levels. So if if you're struggling, that's one thing. But when you get to a certain point where you're able to, substantially take care of yourself, I need to see plastic stuff in you.
Pyrex.
Yeah, it was like you got this up in here next to your glasses and stuff. Throw that shit away. You know what I'm saying? I look in your refrigerator and you got the country crock butter thing full of,
leftovers.
You taking the plastic bag to work for your lunch bag. That's your lunch bag.
You got a sack of lunch.
That's a hood game. And I'm not saying ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying just because we making some points, your plastic Walmart bag is your lunch bag.
Oh my God.
Some of y'all, I'm out here hurting y'all feelings because it's you and you do it on habitually. So if you at that's why I said it's at different levels. If you at that level where you're not supposed to be having, we shouldn't open up and see McDonald's stuff
in your pantry.
And you know what? And I don't even like to save ketchup packets.
Who does that? Do people really do that?
What? Are you serious?
Saving those.
And honey, the packet they save all that.
Terrence J said he do.
Tavia
He put his
like,
hand. Look, both the T's
she
do
got
it.
honey all. She probably got a cup. It depends on how you store it, I guess. You know what I mean? It depends on how you store it. Tavia might have a nice little bowl with it. Women tend
dress that shit up.
Yeah, women bring that element to the house. You come to my house is dominant. I ain't gonna say it's cold, but it's definitely, you can tell ain't a woman in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's you've been in my house hundreds of times, so it's decorated nice for a guy. You know what I mean? But that woman's touched that little bitty bowl that they go to the store and get. I ain't gonna put the honeys from Popeyes in it. You know what I'm saying? Or in the cookie jar. I would have never bought that motherfucker. But they go do that. And you can really appreciate that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying everything was bad about my marriage. when I started being by myself, I started looking at the little stuff. I said, she would have went and bought something for that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm never going to do that. You know what I'm saying? It never crossed my mind. But she'll do that little stuff. You know what I mean? That make your house a home. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's levels to everything. So, you know, quit saving your crunchy crock butter things or whatever type of butter that you use. And your QT cups, throw them away. They're for one use. Terrence. I don't care.
I don't care.
My man Terrence J too.
Shout out to the producer, man. Terrence J,
The
baby.
Radio Therapy Network.
Radio Therapy Network.
We shooting live from here.
Yeah, man. Facts.
Take it, CP.
Good
Take
shit.
us home,
I
baby.
talk my shit because that's what I like to do. Go ahead.
Nah, good shit, man. Good shit. Great discussion, man. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. As usual, man, let's go around the table. Let the people know where they can find us. Poke Fit.
In the streets.
In these streets. We out here in these streets,
You feel me?
man.
You guys can follow me on Instagram at PokeFit, POLKFIT. Facebook, Chris Polk, CHRISPOLK. And for my website, pokefit.net.
Got it, my man.
Well, he got good, didn't he?
That boy good.
All right, you guys can follow me on Instagram at Artavia, and that's ART.A.VIA, or you can follow me on Facebook at Artavia Rochelle.
Are you accepting friend requests now?
And I am accepting friend requests.
And she actually answers, you know,
DMs.
The DMs.
She ain't Hollywood, y'all.
She ain't
on-
Hollywood
Not yet, no.
just of yet.
She's on Snapchat too.
Oh, yeah, I'm on Snapchat at Artavia.H. You can follow me.
The poster lovely.
And you can reach me at Big Von78 on IG and the Von Solo Experience on YouTube. And also Talk to Me Nice on YouTube. So like and subscribe. Like and subscribe and comment. We love to have your feedback, all of the good stuff. And go ahead, CP. Where can we find you at other than the streets?
Man, I'm out there in these streets, man. Y'all know what it is, man. It's your boy CP The Real. Y'all can find me at Instagram, CP_The Real, one word, THEREAL. And again, to piggyback off Vaughn, man, we got to Talk to Me Nice channel on YouTube. So for all of the listeners who enjoy us in the car ride, to work, on your lunch break, man, we appreciate y'all listening, tuning in. You can actually catch the visuals of every episode on YouTube. So the YouTube channel, again, is Talk to Me Nice. Please go subscribe. We're on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and many of your other streaming platforms of choice, man. But that's today's show, man. We love you guys. Again, we hope you love the show. We'll be here for you week in and week out. But that's a wrap, man. So we're going to continue to talk our shit because talking shit makes us feel good. We hope you continue to talk yours. Talk to Me Nice. We out.